This conversation, part 3, is brought to you by York Automotive.
I've been around here for a long time, and personally, I like you because you're honest. You just tell it the way it is, and there's no coach speak. You know, I don't care if it's good, if it's bad. This is the way it is. You know, has that always been your nature, or you got the freedom that you've developed with having your program the way you want to do it?
I think that's my nature. I try to answer the questions. I don't. I think probably people around me would tell you I'm very honest. Like I always, speak my mind for better or worse. I'm not going to run and duck from issues. I think, I always try to answer the questions that I'm asked, and with players, I think it's the same way. I mean, I think, honesty is a big piece of it, right? I mean somebody speaking from a perspective of you don't have to worry about trying to dance around. Sometimes, obviously sometimes, questions you have to be sensitive to. But for me, I've always tried to be as direct and honest as possible. I found that as long as I know I'm refreshing, telling the truth, which I try to always do. If I'm telling the truth, or at least the truth is what I see it, I'm comfortable with that. I think, I don't know. I've always been pretty, comfortable in my own skin. Like I've never been somebody who's tried to, worry about, what people think. I don't know. I've just never been wired that way to really, I think that I worry about. I think we all have two legacies, and I think we have our professional legacies, is whatever we accomplish in our careers. For me, that'd be wins, losses and championships and all that stuff. But our personal legacy is much more. I think much more significant, and I think that's to those that know you best, love you most, right? Like, because people outside may not know you, they may think the world of you, but and you could be, or vice versa, they could say, oh, he's terrible, but if they don't know you, and so when I talk about my personal legacy, that's my wife, that's my kids, that's the staff I work with, that's the players that I played for, that I coached with, that played for me. I'm much more concerned with what they say, how they view me, than I would be some outside person. And so that honesty piece, trying to make sure that that I speak, like I said, I'm gonna tell the truth in any situation I'm in, and I have opinions. I mean, they're always right. I'm always gonna agree, but I guess I have less worry of being concerned of what somebody else thinks than a lot of other people. That doesn't for me really move the needle at all, which is, I guess, probably a good thing at this job, is to be able to be confident to speak your mind, and but also, like I said, not necessarily be over concerned about what outside people are going to think or say.
You remind me a lot. I've been around for back up Indiana State with NAI, Butch Ray, Joe Wilson, and of course, he never went to Division One. We've had a lot of success in him. The pinnacle to this point was Bob King. He, like you, he brought in a bunch of transfers. I mean, there was only like 2 kids on that team that didn't. He brought in Bird, he brought in Heaton, he brought in Leroy Staley, Alex Gilbert. I mean, they were transferred, but at that time there wasn't NIL, there wasn't portal. They were junior college, for the most part, junior college kids that were looking for a place to play, and he brought them in and made a team out of it. But he was like you, he was honest. And he ran the program because he was athletic director and head coach, and he did it his way, and it was successful. And he was honest and straightforward with it. That's you're refreshing, because we've had some ups and downs since that time.
Yeah.
Does with the NIL back to with my curve here is, has it, the NIL and the portal, changed the way you have to recruit? Not the type of kid that you're recruiting, but how you have to approach them, and the limitations or the pressures on you of what you're facing when you're recruiting against other schools that's got big bucks.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Alabama.
Yeah.
Or Texas or something.
Yeah. I don't think it, it's not necessarily changed. I think I've always looked at it like, um, I've always understood that as a coach, as a leader, um, you're completely dependent upon the talent and the character of the people that you coach or hire, right? And so, like, I get that, and so we're very particular about the type of person we bring in. We're very exacting about the kind of people we bring in the program. I think what you look at more now, maybe a little bit, is the inner circle of the kid. Like, what's the inner circle like? Who's involved in that? Usually, the more hands the better the chance the kid's gonna, wind up bouncing, because you got more people with their hands out trying to be involved. We've done very well with very small, recruiting, like with this class, it's really been in the class prior. I mean, it's usually the kid, the parents, and maybe the high school coach or an AU or a coach. It's not been 7 or 8. When you have a bunch of people around a kid, that is not usually been good for us. So I think that's
I
part
don't
of
think
it.
that's good for anybody.
No, I
You
don't
get
think
too many people whispering in their ears, telling them how great they are, or you need this, or you should do this, and your coach doesn't know how to do this, and that's poison.
Well, the more people you have, usually, then the more chances that the kid's gonna get differing messages, confusing. Who are they listening to? Who's a part of their inner circle? What are they about? And how does that work, right? And so, like with Robbie's recruitment, just using him as an example, it was Robbie, his parents wanted Katie, and his high school coach Matt Mansky. That was it. There wasn't 10 of the people in there. There wasn't his brother, of course, was around, but like at the end of the day, it's going to be Robbie's decision. He's got great parents and wanted Katie to support him, be a part, bounce off, and then Coach Mansky, who was his high school coach, now the AD at Oak Forest. That was it. There wasn't 10 other people around trying to give advice or whatever. When they make decisions as a family, like, that's who's involved. And so you're getting to those people. If I think that's a big part of it, is understanding it's not just the kid, but it's the inner circle. And the pressure probably comes from when this having to really re-recruit your own team every year, to where there's probably more pressure on a coach now to make sure that your culture's right, and make sure that I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, where guys are having a good experience. I think there's a pressure there. You got to make sure that at the end of the year, guys have to, and I've been trying to look the window. Last year was long. I mean, we finished playing, I think, around March 20th, and guys had till May 15th to go in the portal, May 11th, I think it was, to go in the portal. So, I mean, there was a 6-week, we met with everybody, and everybody said, they're coming back, whatever their deal was. And but you're still going, man, it's a long time between, and the later you lose somebody, the more devastating, because you can't really replace them. So if somebody came into me and said, hey, May 11th, I'm going to transfer, that we had coming back, I mean, that could be crippling, for a team. So I think you have to be really, you got to trust those people. You've got to do a good job. You got to operate in honesty. But I think there's a pressure there, and then there's added layers to the job now. When you look at, like, NIL and fundraising for that, that's become another layer for coaches. My least favorite part of this job is fundraising, not NIL, just fundraising in general. I hate asking people for money. It's a part of it.
Me too, and it's difficult. It's difficult to run this business without
somebody.
you
have to.
You have to have somebody support you.
Yeah.
Just like we have to have somebody support us. And
Absolutely.
with the economy the way it is, it's difficult.
It's difficult, and I hate it. But I understand it's a part of the job here. It's a part of your job. It's part of a lot of jobs. You need support. You need people that believe in your vision and what you're doing, and understand what you're trying to do, and have the the capacity and the passion and the understanding of the benefit of it all coming together, but it's added more to that. I spend more time fundraising for NIL than I do for Indiana State basketball. So this added different things to that probably 3 years ago you didn't even that wasn't even a part of it. You just raised for your program, for facilities, for different things you want to do, and now again, that seems ancient in retrospect.
With all this that we've talked about, are you still enjoying the game?
I love the game. I love coaching. I think it's a great job, probably a terrible business in a lot of ways. But the coaching aspect, I absolutely love that. I think it's such an unbelievable job. Like I said, the business aspect to me, I don't like. When you get to all the external stuff, but the actual coaching where like, these guys who come here have a window of time, be it, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, a year, to come in and they're dependent on you to help them maximize their value as players, to help them become what they're capable of becoming, to pour into them as men, and to help them, leave out of here with opportunities that you maximize their value as a player. You've also helped them grow as a man. Like, I definitely, from my end, understand like the magnitude and gravity. Because as you go back as a college athlete, you'll always, if you got a chance to go pro, whatever the case may be, you're always going to reflect back, and that's going to be a part of you the rest of your life. Like your college experience, your college coach.
Formative time.
Yeah, for really a formative time and a chance to really make a huge impact on somebody's life in a positive way. And so, like, when I see a guy like Cam Henry in Germany and he send me pictures and having a great experience, or Voss in Luxembourg, or Cade's in Spain, if guys all the world playing, you're still in touch. Father's Day. It's an amazing job. And so, and the competition and the ability to go out, but I never lose sight of like my how significant the job of a coach is for the players and the people that work under you, and so I think I love that every day. I couldn't imagine doing anything else, like I said, I appreciate and grateful every day I wake up, be able to do what I do, but the business aspect of it has changed, but the actual coaching piece is what I love most.
You seem to enjoy yourself on the sideline. I mean, you're walking, you got a smile on your face. Sometimes you have your hand in your pocket, and it's like, okay, I'm Joe Cool. I'm Frank Sinatra. I got this under control. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Life couldn't be any better.
Probably doing a good job of hiding all the internal
well, now once in a while, you got to get in there. And straighten the officials out.
Try to, yeah. There's always a call or two or five, depending on the game. That no, I think I think every coach is different. You can't pattern yourself on anybody else. You got to be yourself. Like there's coaches who Coach Knight, who just passed. I mean, he's a guy that's, and I think certainly so, probably the Mount Rushmore of all-time college coaches. And he was very combustible. You got John Wooden very much in that same Mount Rushmore, who was as cool as they come and sat down with his paper rolled up. I think the key is to be authentic to yourself, to be authentically you. What does that look like? For me, I want our guys to play with emotion, but not be emotional, right? So if I'm on the sidelines being emotional and I'm jumping up and down and ranting and raving and like our guys are out there, they're not going to play perfect basketball. It's inherently a game of mistakes. No one's going to go out and play a perfect game. It's never happened. Never will happen. It's going to be breakdown. Otherwise, the score would be, somebody would have been like 2-2. Nobody would ever get beat. There'd be no defensive breakdowns, no open shots, whatever contested shot you could make, right? Like, basketball's a game of mistakes, and so you're going to make mistakes. So if you go into it knowing that, it's really, how are guys going to respond to those mistakes? I know everybody out there is
back to your fluid game.
Yeah, back to a fluid game. Yes, and you have to be able to respond to mistakes. You got to be able to respond to the good plays and bad plays inside the game, and really focus on making the next right play. We talk about it all the time. It's really about making the next right play. When things are going good, make the next right play. If things are going poorly, make the next right play. If you can just stay locked into that, you're not going to ride the emotional roller coaster. And for me, I'm trying to be as locked in every possession as I can be, and so the less time I'm spending jumping around or screaming, yelling, or whatever, to me that's kind of allow me to be focused on what I need to do for my job to help the team. You know, so I have my role in terms of what I got to do, and then so I got to do my job to the best of my ability. Because at the end of the day, you know, we got to do our jobs collectively, players and coaches. I'm a part of that, better than the opponents are doing it. And then, you know, I don't think anybody's out there intentionally playing bad. You know, like guys are trying. So for me to go out
But they
and
have to be taught.
right, they have to be taught, and the teaching part for the most part comes in practice,
Right.
and that's where that's what teaching is done. You're not going to do if you're having to teach in the games, and you've probably missed your window. You know, like I'm going to address certain things in a game, but for the most part, those mistakes will be addressed in film.
You teach
With
in
the team,
practice,
yes.
and the game is your test.
Right, the game is exactly.
Yeah. If you pass the test, that means you win.
Yeah.
You did a good job. If you failed the test, you did pay attention. Right.
Right. And the coaches, good coaches, do their jobs in practice, and the games are pretty much set for you to make adjustments and to that's where where the play calls or adjustments or subs or whatever the case may be. You have a litany of things you got to handle. But in terms of the core of who you are, your habits, all that stuff, and I just don't think screaming and yelling at guys in a game, embarrassing them, showing them up, is beneficial to anybody. You know, I don't think it may look good to the crowd. They think, oh man, look at this guy, he's such a taskmaster. You know, he's keeping his thumb on these guys. But
How many of those people in the crowd that say, yeah, would like to work for someone like that?
exactly, and they screw up and then and that guy. So everybody wants to know that a big part of coaching is getting guys to believe in themselves, to play with confidence, to play with poise. It comes through practice. Also comes how you interact with them. And getting guys doesn't mean, like I said, you're never going to get on guys. It mean that I think we try to find a balance of creating an environment that's extremely demanding but also encouraging. We don't want guys to walk out and feel like head down, beat up. Nobody plays well in this. We're gonna be on it. We're gonna be very demanding, but we're also understanding when guys are doing stuff wrong. That's on me to fix. I don't look at it like the players doing it on purpose or they want to do it wrong. Now, if there's issues with effort, when guys aren't trying or not focused, then that's different. Then I will hold them to task on that. But other stuff, to me, that's coach's responsibility. Like, that's my job. I'm the teacher. It's like the professor who, there's professors that take great pride in, everybody in my class got an F. I'm such a hard teacher.
Yeah.
You're a bad teacher. If everybody in your class is getting an F, that's on you. That's actually your responsibility. Like, you're not teaching them well enough that nobody is grasping the concepts. So it's on the teacher to make sure that the students are learning and are being able to apply what they're learning. And if they're not, then you have to figure out a better way to communicate the lessons. That's the way I look at it.
Well, you brought a lot of excitement back to Holman Center and to Indiana State, Terre Haute, Greater Wabash Valley. Wish you nothing but success. I want to thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you and your efforts and your teams for the next 10, 15 years.
Let's do it. That sounds great. I look forward to it. That'd be awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Take care.
This conversation, part 3, is brought to you by York Automotive.